Hey guys, welcome to the Binge Zone. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Netflix original series Ju-On. And before we begin, I have to say, if you guys like reviews, breakdowns, and explains, consider subscribing. And if you guys want to talk more intimate about movies and TVs and all that and hit me up on a personal level, follow me on Twitter. And let's just jump into this. Man, first and foremost, I have to say, when it comes to horror movies, they scare me. Like real horror movies, like supernatural horror scares me. I'm not talking about the Halloween movies with Mike Myers or Candyman or Chucky, because I'll keep it 100% with you guys. If it's Mike Myers, if it's Candyman, if it's Chucky, I'm gonna throw my fist up, I'm gonna go at them, because I am 6'1", 230 pounds. So when it comes to those guys, like I have these hands, right? But then when you have stuff like Freddy Krueger and The Grudge and Samara from The Ring, like supernatural shit, I am petrified because they have all these supernatural powers and the only powers I have are these hands, and I don't think that works when it comes to supernatural beings. When it comes to Ju-On, for those of you guys who don't know, Ju-On is the Japanese name for The Grudge, the movie franchise, and it was a big thing in Japan before it actually came over to the US as The Grudge. And the word Ju-On translates to cursed grudge, which plays a deep part of the entire Grudge franchise as well as Ju-On origins. But I want to say this, before we dive into this, I am afraid, like I said earlier, of supernatural horror. So I watched this show in the daytime, bright as hell, 2 in the afternoon, sunny as shit in Florida, and I was still scared, like dead ass, like I was still petrified because this show is chilling, creepy, and downright scary. The atmosphere, the ambiance, and I was just, every time the music dropped, because you know when it comes to horror, the soundtrack plays a decent role in it. When the mood changes, I'm scared. And this show really does that. I really appreciate that about this show, because for a franchise like Ju-On or The Grudge that has been around for so long, for this franchise to be over 20 years and still keep the scaring fresh is great. But before I continue about what I like so much about this show, I want to talk about the small things I did not like. And what I did not like is not much. Actually, I pretty much enjoyed everything about this show. And even if you watch it as an English dub, I prefer Japanese sub because I just watched whatever in its native language. But even if you watch the English dub, like you can get behind it and it's pretty scary. There was not much for me to complain about unless I want to dive into spoiler territory, which I won't do for this video. But overall, I enjoyed most of the things I liked about this show. The characters, the story, and just the theme of being cursed and just the intricacies of this curse. Because this show really dives deep into the mythology of The Grudge, Ju-On, and it really dives into just what the lengths of a curse can be or just how a curse manifests. And man, like, holy shit, like it makes me think twice about buying a house because it's still centered around a cursed house. And for a show that has a limited set, the intimacy of this show really adds to it. And when you have these different characters who are fleshed out and have their own stories, but then they're all connected by the thread of this cursed house, you see how it really works. And it really works your nerves, especially dealing with kids. Because, oh my God, if there's one thing scary than supernatural deities, is supernatural deities in the form of children. I'm telling you guys, I'm really scared of stuff like this. But even though I'm scared of it and I'm not a big horror fan, or I am, but like I usually get scared. But even as someone who's petrified and who has to pause consistently to watch the show just so I could process what happened, I enjoyed it. The pacing wasn't too much where it was just like jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, ooh, let's get them. Where it's like, ooh, it's The Grudge, let's just try to jump scare them. While they do have jump scares, the jump scares themselves fit nicely and you never really see them coming. And that's what makes a good jump scare. The fact that you don't see it coming, and the fact that the movie itself or the TV series itself doesn't rely entirely on jump scares. When it comes to supernatural horror shows, I have to say Netflix is pretty much 2 for 2 in their big ones. Because if you guys remember Haunted Hill House was scary as shit. And then you have Ju-on Origins, which is on par with Hill House in the scaring department and as well as the character progression department, because we're following these characters, like I said earlier, and I'm on edge because I've grown accustomed to these characters. Like, I'm invested in their story. I want to see what happens to Kiyomi. I want to see what happens to Mr. Odaijama. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names. It's Japanese. I'm trying to remember from memory. But I want to see what happens to them. I want to see what happens to Haruka and just what goes on. So as I'm following them and the curse is growing and attacking different characters, you're like, bruh, no. Like, you feel for some of these characters, and because of the way that it's portrayed and the way that some of the emotional scenes happen, and then it's just like, these poor souls never stood a chance. And that's what really gets me. Like, if it's a bunch of douchebag kids doing douchebag shit, or like just in general bad people who are getting cursed, whatever, like, what, deities, do whatever you will with them. Curses, finish them off. But when you're following a character, an innocent character who just bought a house and wants to live there because the house is cheap and wants to start a family, like, you grow attached to that character, and then, man, they're gone. But what I also like about this season is the fact that this show is the origin of the Grudge House. So we're following the house through various years, and you see how the curse evolves, and you see how it becomes more complex. So by the time we get to the Ju-on we're accustomed to, like, it's a shit show. This house is like, damned, my God. Like, who would ever live here? Because we saw throughout the other Grudge movies, the other Ju-on movies, how they add upon the curse, and how every new movie becomes a new people moving into the house. The curse gets more complex, and it's more things happening and more people that you didn't quite know were there. The show adds to that, and it builds upon it, and every new victim, like you saw, adds a new layer to the curse, adds a new story, a new plot, and a new element. And here I am in my bed, 2 in the afternoon, sheets over me, bright as fuck. I open the curtains, like, bright as hell, and I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? That's legit me. Like, a cat meowing made me jump. A cat meowing, because that was the creep. Oh my God, like, I can't overemphasize how petrifying this show was. And if you guys are fans of The Grudge, and you guys are fans of the Ju-on trilogy, and you know that creepy vibe that it gives, that scariness, that unsettling, unnerving feeling that it gives, this show has that in abundance, and I highly recommend it. And it's a quick binge. If you're being honest, like, you can knock this out in an afternoon because it's 6 episodes, 30 minutes long. But because I'm who I am, it took me days to get through this because I could only stomach so much before I started freaking out. Don't judge me. I'm being honest with you guys. To me, it was scary, and I highly recommend it. Again, like I said, I didn't have much to complain about, if any at all. Yeah, nothing I could think of to complain about that said this show isn't good. Like, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It scared the bejesus out of me. And it's another great addition to Netflix's horror library. And it's another thing that fans of horror should definitely check out. And if you guys subscribe to the channel, I will be doing an ending explain video breaking down the curse, the mythology, and just an overall view of the Ju-on franchise from origin onward, because there's a lot to unpack. Because if you're just following it and you're not looking at the complexities of the curse, like, it's a lot to get through, it's a lot to stomach. But I'm gonna do my best to break that down for you guys. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.